Welcome to From Betrayal to Breakthrough. I'm Dr. Debi Silber, and here's a dose of Dr. Debi. In this episode, we're talking about stress. Think your stress is only impacting you mentally and emotionally? Think again. Stress takes such a huge toll on us physically, too. Join me as you learn what stress does and what you can do about it. I'll meet you there. Hi there. So we know stress impacts us mentally and emotionally, but there's a huge physical component too. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit today because I see so many people coming into the PBT Institute with, of course, the shattered trust and wanting to clean up and clear up the betrayal, but they're coming in with so many physical symptoms, illnesses, conditions, even disease. So here's kind of what happens. We have this amazing stress response, and in the short term, it's really designed to keep us safe, to keep us alive. Like, let's say there's a car coming at you. Well, we ignite the stress response. Because of that, blood and oxygen go to the heart, lungs, and limbs, and we're able to jump the curb to safety, right? It's there to protect us, and that's a great thing. And then things calm down, we go back to normal, we go about our business. What happens though with chronic stress is that same system is ignited, but it's not turned off. So the system that's protecting you over the long term is doing tremendous damage over the short term, is doing tremendous damage over the long term. It's like you're jumping the curb to safety 24/7. So in the beginning, you may have all the energy in the world, but then eventually you're kind of tired but wired, and eventually you're just tired, right? And it affects so many different areas of even our health. Like one I see all the time is in the gut. And if you're wondering, why do I have this gut issue now? I never had one before. Take a look at your stress. And one of the simplest ways to explain it is, think about it. If the blood and oxygen is going to your heart, lungs, and limbs so you can jump the curb to safety, well, there's really that the blood and oxygen isn't available to help you digest your food, right? And even if you are eating a great diet, now you might even not even be retaining all the amazing nutrients that you're taking in. So it gets impacted. You could be, the great stuff isn't staying in, bad stuff is coming in, good stuff is going out, and it really becomes this whole mess. In fact, we've had easily over 50,000 people take the post-betrayal syndrome quiz. I'm going to post that here for you, to see to what extent they're struggling. And 45% have a gut issue. And it can be anything from Crohn's, IBS, diverticulitis, constipation, diarrhea, you name it. And it's so interesting when you think of it energetically too. Doesn't this make so much sense? Think about what the gut does. It absorbs, digests, and processes food. Well, isn't a betrayal difficult to absorb, digest, and process? Is it any wonder why the gut is acting up? So it's easy to see why we have these issues. I remember working with somebody, and she was under a tremendous amount of stress, and it was just an issue with her husband. And I remember this is back in the days when I was helping people with weight loss and health, and way more than what I'm doing now. And we were working on something, and typically everybody I was working with would lose anywhere from 2 to 8 pounds the first week, and then typically, 2 pounds every week after that. And she lost a little bit, but then she really was stuck. And she said to me one day, I'm really struggling. Would it be okay if we kind of put this on pause and pick this up, in a couple of weeks? Sure, no problem. And a couple of weeks later, like a month later, she comes back and she said, Debbie, the craziest thing, I ate the exact same way. I didn't change anything. I lost 7 pounds this month. That's what stress can do. It can hold on so tightly to your weight, and you're struggling. You're trying everything, and you just can't lose it. Also what happens is when you're under stress, you have a tremendous amount of cortisol, the stress hormone, surging, coursing through you. And one of the things it kind of does is, it's like, imagine, when everything is running normally and everything is okay. It's like your body, everything is going to your food, and everything is being digested and processed and metabolized the way it's supposed to. But under stress, it's almost like, your body's saying, "Oh, I see you're under stress. No worries. I'm going to just park myself right here in your midsection, and I'll be here for you when you're ready." So if you're noticing, like, where did this muffin top come from, and what's happening? There are so many reasons why the body is responding and reacting. Also, what happens is when we're under stress, we're burning through nutrients at a rate that under normal circumstances we're not. And I know this is like one of the last things we want to do is think about, our nutrition or about being healthy when we're undergoing stress, but it's actually a time we need it most because of how much we're burning through these nutrients. And I encourage it for two reasons. One, because we're burning through so many of these nutrients. And the second reason is because at a time where we feel we've lost control, like let's take the shattering of trust, let's take betrayal, everything is that we felt we had control over is no longer. The bottom is truly bottomed out on us. And in the very beginning, a new bottom hasn't been formed yet. And it's terrifying. So something like taking control over your eating or over how you move may be the only things you feel you have control over at the time. So of course, there are so many other benefits. Once you've been betrayed, it's at that moment eating healthy. It's not about looking good in your skinny jeans. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is feeling that sense that you're regaining control when control has been completely ripped away from you. And also giving yourself the support, the additional support you need because you are burning through these nutrients. And also because that stress is creating, especially when your adrenals tank, then it's the brain fog and the exhaustion and so many of the physical symptoms that we get. So just even boosting those nutrients is something where at least you can think a little bit more clearly and you can respond and react a little bit more clearly. I'll never forget when I was going through my betrayal, and I was so forgetful. And this was, brain fog. Talk about brain fog. It was so bad. I remember I was going to be meeting a bunch of friends at a restaurant that I had been to so many times. And I drove right past it. Completely forgot where I was going. I was so confused. And I don't know if you've experienced that too. And it's so common. And then, here we are trying to just manage everything. We still have our work or, raising our kids or our other obligations. And now we have to manage all this stress too and make some sense and make some meaning out of the experience. So it's a lot to move through. It's a lot to handle. But for today, I just wanted to make sure that we'll take the post-betrayal syndrome quiz, and that link is below, thepbtinstitute.com/quiz, and see where you land. See if you're very likely to be struggling with symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. You're likely or you're unlikely, and that's not the case at all for you. But if so, the good news is you can heal from all of it. So if it's the physical symptoms that are really making you exhausted, your gut is acting up, or you're anxious, you can't sleep, whatever's going on, or the mental and emotional, the sadness, the anger, the rage, the confusion, all of it, you can heal from all of it. And of course, we'd love to help you within the PBT Institute. So, so many ways to help. And the first way I would suggest is take that quiz, and you'll see you're not crazy. You're not alone. The reason why you're struggling with all these symptoms is because of betrayal and shattered trust. Think about it. The person you trusted the most, the people you trusted the most, just proved untrustworthy. So, when the ones you'd run to are the ones causing the harm, what do you do, right? But we have ways to help, and happy to help you however we can. I'll talk to you next time. I hope this inspires you to do at least one thing to reduce or better manage your stress. How's your stress showing up on you? Accelerated aging, weight gain, gut issues, sleep issues? As if moving forward from shattered trust and betrayal isn't hard enough, it doesn't help if we're unhappy about how we look and feel physically too. Do you know we have an entire line of shakes, multis, and supplements designed to support the most common symptoms impacted by betrayal? Yep. You could find them, the post-betrayal syndrome quiz, my books, and so much more by going to subscribetodebi.com. That's DEBI. Subscribetodebi.com. And share this podcast with a friend. How? From your phone. Just take a screenshot of the podcast and share it with someone you know who'd benefit. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to be with you next time, and here's to your breakthrough.